Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Valentina and I am nicknamed the African Dominican. On this channel, I uplift and promote African heritage in the diaspora. So in this video, we will be talking about Dominican Republic Black history. So please stay tuned, do not go away and watch until the end. I'm sure that you will learn something that you did not know before. Please feel free to share your thoughts below in the comment section so that we can all learn from each other on this very important topic. Due to the anti-blackness that is usually associated with the Dominican Republic, it is hard to believe that Dominican Republic is the home of the first black people in the Americas, aka the first black people in the African diaspora. This is a very crucial part of Dominican Republic's history that is hardly mentioned or talked about. A lot of Dominicans probably don't even know this either. But let that sink in. The Dominican Republic was home to the first black people in the Americas. And few people realize this. The first black people in the Americas were initially brought to the Dominican Republic from present-day Senegal and the Gambia in Africa. Those Africans were brought to the Dominican Republic in the 1490s by Christopher Columbus. For those of you who do not know who Christopher Columbus is, he is a European who discovered the Dominican Republic, so to speak. Dominican Republic is also where the Atlantic slave trade began in 1503, which is 116 years before the first slaves arrived in the USA. Another interesting fact is that after Haiti is Dominican Republic's neighbor, so after Haiti, Dominican Republic was the next country to abolish African slavery in 1801. The black ancestors of today's Dominicans were the first to experience the dreadful transatlantic slave trade and the first to offer organized resistance as soon as they landed in what we now call the Dominican Republic. At the time, it was called La Española. These Africans or African Dominicans were also the first to endure and survive all the varieties of enslaved labor and enslaved life, and the first to thrive and produce new generations of African descendants born in the New World. You know, it just dawned on me that this first wave of Africans in the Americas were in essence African Dominicans. African Dominican is my nickname given to me last year in 2022 by an Afro-Latino from Panama. And when he gave me that nickname, he was just playing around making fun of Dominicans because they love me and they don't even know why. And Dominican Republic actually called me to her country and her people. I don't know why, but now it's starting to make sense due to my platform and what I talk about on my platform. As you all know by now, on this channel and on all my social media platforms called African Dominican, I have been uplifting and promoting African heritage in the diaspora. The first black people in the diaspora, the Americas, the African Dominicans, may actually be responsible for my getting here, doing what I'm doing, making sure that their legacy is not buried and forgotten. And mind you, I'm not Dominican. I'm a full-blown African, born in Africa, by African parents, but raised in the diaspora. How I ended up here, getting to know about Dominican Republic and Dominicans, that journey, I don't think it was by accident. I think African Dominicans led me here. They needed somebody to have a voice to speak for them. And here I am. Unbeknownst to me at the time of starting this African Dominican channel, my platform is literally the voice of African Dominicans, and aka the first Black people in the diaspora. This really just dawned on me while editing this video. I am honored that the ancestors from Africa chose me and gave me that nickname African Dominican to be their spokesperson through this platform. I mean, how profound is that? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but you gotta admit that that is a pretty cool coincidence, don't you think? Leave your comment below, but hey, I'm here. I love what I'm doing. Let's promote Africa to the world. Let's uplift African heritage and culture. All right, moving on. History reveals that Black resistance in the Americas actually began in the Dominican Republic. The first sugarcane plantation rebellion took place in Nigua in Dominican Republic in 1522 in a mill owned by Christopher Columbus's oldest son. The men who rebelled were of the Wolof Anthony group from the Senegambia, which is Senegal, Gambia. And another significant moment in the Dominican Republic's resistance movement came courtesy of Juan Sebastian Lemba, who was a child when he was forcibly brought to Santo Domingo from present-day Congo in the early 16th century. So this small child was brought to Santo Domingo by force, of course, in the 16th century. In 1532, Lemba escaped slavery and began a heroic 15-year journey across the Dominican Republic, growing an army of 200 to 400 marooned Africans who joined him in liberating enslaved communities around the nation. Lemba's statue is the only one in the Dominican Republic that honors an African, and that statue stands outside the entrance of the Museum of the Dominican Men, a 15-minute drive east of the colonial city. You might have heard of an African Dominican female who opened the first hospital in the Dominican Republic. She lived in Santo Domingo, which is Dominican Republic, in the early 1500s. She inspired then Spanish Governor Nicolas de Ovando to build a historic first hospital in the Americas. So this African Dominican woman was curing the sick in a humble shack, which was located right where the hospital de Bari was built. She used her knowledge of natural medicine to save lives. As a result, the first hospital in the Dominican Republic was actually built by this Black woman, an African Dominican. This hospital is called Hospital de San Nicolas de Bari, and it is located in the heart of Santo Domingo. Furthermore, the African parlor music, or atabales, is Dominican Republic's original music and national musical expression, although merengue became official during the Trujillo era. But the African parlor music was present before merengue. Parlor is a Dominican sacred music featuring drums and human voices as the principal instruments. Parlor is played at religious ceremonies and secular parties and other special occasions. African heritage in the Dominican Republic is also prevalent in the dance styles, food names, and other music genres. It is hard to deny Africa's presence in the Dominican Republic, and Africa refuses to be silenced in the Dominican Republic, even though many on the island have tried to keep her hidden, out of sight, and hardly spoken about. The African ancestors who first set foot in the Dominican Republic will not rest until the Dominican Republic acknowledges, highlights, and celebrates her rich contribution to this beautiful country and people. The Dominican Republic's history is intertwined with more than 28 African tribes who were brought to Santo Domingo, which is now Dominican Republic, as slaves. Santo Domingo is the oldest permanent European urban settlement in the Americas, but many visitors only see its Spanish past, but they see little of its African past. However, there is hope. Thanks to social media, I believe more and more Dominicans are openly highlighting and celebrating their African heritage more than ever before, especially the youth who are not so mentally slaved like the older generation of Dominicans. I also read about plans to include October 30th as the African Heritage Day in the Dominican Republic, called Dia de la Africanidad. I'm not sure if that day has been made official yet. I hope Dominican Republic comes up with a national day to celebrate its African heritage, since Dominican Republic has tried for so long not to openly highlight and celebrate the African heritage of its country and people. All right, good people, this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Please feel free to leave your comment below with any thoughts that you may have, and like and share this video. People of African heritage, please, let's embrace our Africanness. Africa is beautiful, you are beautiful, and of course let's just embrace each other as humans. Despite the color of your skin, we are really one. We bleed the same. Thank you. Have a good one. God bless.